Welcome back. It's Kasim and John with Solutions 8.
Where we teach you Google Ads things.
Google Ads things.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
About advanced UTM strategies in Google Ads. What were you going to say? Was that a joke?
No, I was going to say, I think that's probably what this should be called, Advanced Google Ads Strategies with Kasim and John.
Yeah, there you go.
Notice I put you first.
I did notice that. You get to talk most of the time, so we're even.
We'll have you co-author, but you'll be number one. It's okay.
That's great.
Awesome. Yeah, so advanced UTM strategies. Now, UTM strategies are an advanced technique as already in and of itself. But how we're using them today is going to be a little bit more advanced, and it's a pretty specific use case, and I think it's pretty good to share that. But what UTM parameters are, for those not in the know, are a way to send over campaign data along with that click to a digital property, like a website, for example. So if you are using UTM parameters, what you would see is that a person coming from a campaign inside of your Google Ads, meaning that they Googled something, they found the ad, they clicked on it, and then they went to the website. When they arrive at the website, the URL actually shows the website. They came from Google Ads, came from this campaign, this ad group, this keyword, this ad, and that's why they're here. So in case they convert, like filling out a form or buying something, you can see what campaign is delivering that information. And now this will also match up to the conversions inside of your Google Ads account, but you'll be able to see on the website, well, Bob Smith or Jan Smith, whatever we want to say, filled out this form and it was a really good lead. That's a lead that I'm looking for, and I want to know where that lead came from. And you can see along with that lead's information what campaign and all the attributes are appropriate. Now, there's more technical side. You have to make sure your website's set up to retrieve these. And that's usually something called UTM, hidden fields that capture these UTM parameters. So another time for another video on how to set those up. But today we're going to be talking about how to use those in a more advanced level. Something that we do on our side that our clients really like is getting down to the nitty gritty and high specificity of how and where we're sending that traffic from. So that's what we're going to do today.
I'm excited. Let's do this.
Yep. Go ahead and share my screen. Now, as usual, name is going to be blocked off for privacy reasons, but what we're looking at right now is what we call it's called display proactive, but it's proactive display campaign, meaning that a display campaign that is going after users who we have identified as a proper target for us and seeing how those users perform. Now you can see that there's three audiences, three different ad groups: an in-market audience, who we believe are people in the market for what we have to offer; custom intent, meaning these are people that we believe are looking for something that we have to offer; and custom affinity are just people who are in the industry that we're looking to attract. So we have three different kind of like layers, like bottom of the funnel, middle of the funnel, top of the funnel, and seeing how our campaigns are performing. I'm looking at just a recent month snapshot here because it has the most amount of activity. And what's cool about this is from here you get to see your in-market audience, 98 conversions, $8 cost per lead, 10,000 clicks on display, million impressions, average cost per click 7 cents. We have $810. So our basically it's spending $810 getting 98 leads and $8.27 cost per lead is good. Now these leads are what we call started signups. This is a free trial.
I know this isn't relevant to the call, but gosh, I think that's the cheapest I've ever seen in recent, you know what I mean? Like, well, that's amazing.
Yeah. What's interesting is it's because of what we're using in our UTM strategies that is actually helping produce this. You have to be a good client though in order to do this. You have to be able to be willing to give feedback to your agency. If not, then we're just like, well, numbers look good. Not sure what's actually happening on your side, but that's one of the reasons why I want to make this video today, is because it's actually something that we've been honing in really well. And what I wanted to share with you is in placements right here, the first thing that pops up is where you want to purposely show your ads. We don't have any placements shown because we're using targeting as of the person, not where they would see it. So when you target the person or the type of person you're looking to attract, Google then permeates throughout the internet and says, here's where your ads were showed. And that's what we're going to look at right now. So where ads show. And what's cool about this is you can see, you know, a mobile application, Subway Surfers. Someone in our industry or someone in our targeting was on Subway Surfers at that time and decided, hey, you know what, I'm going to sign up for this program. And that's where you see the started sign up process. Now, what's kind of interesting too is as you go down, you can kind of see some odd YouTube channels. And then you'll start to see mobile applications, a lot of YouTube, a lot of mobile that just has a high amount of impressions. But what's interesting is we're looking at this and saying, okay, is YouTube really converting? Because YouTube is a very odd, it's a very odd network to convert on when you look at the type of content that is being shown on.
The Jigsaw Puzzle Collection HD.
Yeah, that one got a sign up. Baby Bus Nursery Rhymes.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So
yeah. So nursery rhymes, and you're like, why is it nursery rhymes? Vlad Nikki YouTube channel. I think Ryan's World is actually a, I think that's like a pre-teen type of like cool YouTube channel. But
I'm so afraid to Google things nowadays that I don't know because it always ends up being worse than I expect.
I know. But what's funny is we track conversions really well. So we know when people start the sign up versus when they actually completed the sign up. And what's cool about this is you'll see start to sign up, there's actually a 5-step process, and then people that make it to the end completed. So I already know that Ryan's World, even though it's a YouTube channel, doesn't seem applicable to our audience. Two people started to sign up and one actually finished the sign up as well. That's a full like paying customer now. And we know that they came from Ryan's World. But when I'm looking at this, I'm like,
by the way, is this cute little kid who like teaches you, like the video I'm looking at is how are tsunamis formed, and he's 25 million subscribers. So how weird is that? Somebody was watching Ryan's World and then converted on a SaaS product offering. That's amazing.
Yeah, and that's why it's very hard to believe. Now, when looking at this, when I present this to the client, if I had to do it like right now on the phone and be like, yes, well, or over a screen share, it's like these things don't look relevant, probably not where you want to show your ads, but it works. And what's interesting about this too is we can see when they sign up and when they start to sign up, it goes into a free trial. That free trial then ultimately goes to a paying.
Can I pause you for a second? Yeah. Are these counted redundant? So there's one sign up or two started sign up and one sign up. Is that one that signed up included in the two that started?
Yes. We're counting each conversion action uniquely, which means one person can take a unique conversion action. One unique is started, one unique is finished. So most likely this was the same person. Because it's a 5-step process. So you could do it in 5 minutes if you wanted to, which is what seems to have happened here. But what's interesting is when you look at it and you see started sign up and you're like, well, here's the question. I don't know if mobile app, the people that are started sign up, I don't know if they're finishing. I'm not sure if they're going through the funnel. I'm not sure if they're actually converting and becoming a paying customer. You might be able to see on your CRM tool, if someone starts and then logs back in from a different device and completes it. Google Ads most of the time can't track that. So when you have a startup process or a sign up process that could be 10 days long, because their signups like give you your website, it's a SaaS product, so give me your website, like all this other stuff. It's a fairly intensive process, which is why we needed to track really well. But what that also means is that you lose that tracking from point of started to point of end. And so what we wanted to know was, well, is there anything here that we're seeing that we're spending money on that's just not really finishing the conversions, and where are they coming from? So what we did is in the campaign settings, we used campaign URL options. This is that UTM parameters that we talked about initially. So we know when that person starts the sign up process, our clients know, okay, it came from Google, came from the medium of CPC, which is cost per click. It's not organic, it's a paid ad. The campaign is SYNGA. The camp ID is SYNGA display. These are for their internal tracking purposes, how they set up their internal reporting so they can filter it. We're just simply sending that information along with it. But then at the end, UTM underscore content equals a dynamic placement. And what this means is it'll come through and say UTM underscore content equals placement. It'll actually show you Ryan's World on YouTube is where this ad was actually placed when the point of conversion took place. And what we're going to try to correlate over time more and more is, do YouTube channels versus mobile apps convert better? Do they have a higher or lower cost per conversion? Do they have a higher conversion rate from started trial to paying customer? All the stuff that we want to know, because when you look at it, you're like, this doesn't look right. Let's get rid of these. I don't want to be showing up on all these. Well, you might be shooting yourselves in the foot if you don't actually analyze this down to a really hyper point of specificity, saying actually YouTube, even if it's on kid games, they're cheap and they convert very well and they make us a lot of money. Well, that's
Question,
perfect.
where did you go to build this URL structure? I think does YouTube or does Google Ads have a builder? There's got to be a URL builder somewhere. What are you using?
Yeah, so this one we've actually, geez, we've been using this for a while. Let me see if I can pull up a link.
Didn't Steven build one? Remember that?
Yeah, yeah, and I build them.
It was
I
in
usually,
Google or something.
I think it's a app spot. This one's a really good one here. So campaign URL builder, but this is why it's an advanced strategy, because campaign URL builder is going to give you what we saw. So this one, and I'm actually going to erase this because this is a current client, so this will be blurred out, but because it showed the last thing that I used. But you'll see the URL, the source, the medium, the name, the campaign term, and the campaign content. But the campaign content you define. So it's not variable like what we did with our kind of advanced strategy here. The campaign
Dynamic include tags. Where is the library of those that are accessible to us? It's got to be more than just placement.
Yeah, there's not. And that's why I was like, I really want to share this. Yeah, there really isn't. And so what's interesting is it took testing. So we're like, can we actually send the placement? Like, will it grab that? And yeah, it did, and it worked. So we think about, well, what else can we do? Device.
Gosh, why does that not surprise me? Of course, they don't make it easy. You think Google Ads would have the URL builder?
There probably is. Yeah, it's funny. Google Ads doesn't have the URL builder. The tracking template is so, because the tracking template is really what can you receive, not what can you send. Because I can say UTM underscore John likes the color equals red, and boom, all of a sudden it's going to say, hey, John likes red when this lead comes over. So it's really whatever you want.
Well, and that's the point on the campaign URL builder that you pulled up, that second tab. You can create custom parameters, and you can create as many as you want, right? This is creating the generic, but you can store anything.
Yeah, and every single campaign URL builder that you look at, like support at Google URL builders, like here's an example. And then you have campaign parameters, but then it's like here's source, medium, campaign term, content, but it's they're really, very just, here's the basics and here's what you have. No one had, well, can we add a variable tag for placements? That wasn't a thing. So what's kind of cool about this is whatever you're looking to say, it's like, man, I really want to know if this is performing well. Send that data over and then track what actually happens during that time after the conversion takes place, and then say, well, when I catalog all these placements look good, this campaign looks good, this ad group, this keyword, all those things. But when you're looking at letting it variably choose where to post those ads to people, it's important to know, is that kid app that I was about to shut off really delivering good results? And that's what we're doing here.
You've said this already, but when you add this URL, somebody clicks on the ad, lands on your page, it goes to your domain name plus this URL, and now your website has to capture that. And to my knowledge, the only way to do that is using hidden form fields, right? What else are we? I mean, you can capture the URL in aggregate the way like call tracking metrics does.
Yeah, you can capture them via cookies, and pipe it through to a CRM tool that way. It's much, much, much more difficult to do that. And usually
the data from the cookies into a CRM tool?
Yeah.
You'd have to build that parse, right? Oh, okay.
So there's tools and applications, but if it's like, hey, how do we do this standard WordPress? It's really not possible. But HubSpot CMS can do that now, Pardot, like specific web builders.
Well, if they have a pre-built parser in place, then they're using hidden form fields anyway, I'm assuming, just onboard in app.
Yeah, Shopify does that actually. Shopify, if you go into the reports and then it says sales generated by marketing efforts, you click into that, there's a campaign section there, and you can type whatever you want, and then that'll just say, hey, when this came over, we saw that it came from that campaign URL, they bought something, and so it'll actually parse that data for you.
So if you're going to use it in a CRM, then you have to make sure you have the hidden form fields that are analogous to the UTM parameters. And then the naming conventions have to match. That's how the connection is made.
Yep. And I think what I could probably do is
I just want to make sure if somebody's watching this, they kind of know the step to capture all this info, because otherwise it just goes away if you don't intentionally seek out to capture it.
Yeah, and I think that's where the hidden form fields, like on a normal website builder, the form builder has to be able to retrieve that information. So normally it's like, all right, let's add our fields. My visible fields are first name, last name, email, phone number. My hidden fields are UTM underscore campaign equals, UTM underscore content equals, UTM underscore medium equals. And then as the person visits the website and fills out that form, those hidden fields automatically grab the form fields, the UTM fields from the URL.
And every form I've ever used has the ability to create hidden form fields. I can't think of one that doesn't.
If yours doesn't, I'd recommend just switching because
Yeah.
it's going to be the norm. And that's just something that we're going to have to know. But for example, we're going to have to blur this out. But this is a current client's Shopify account. So the top left, you'll see the names blurred out. The URLs can be blurred out as well. But you can see here, Google Shopping. This is Google Shopping, but it was made on March 23rd. And you can see, okay, the shopping one, since May 25th has made 182. And what's nice about this is we're going to be blurring a lot of this out whenever it shows the brand name. But hopefully you can kind of see, you can get pretty detailed with your UTM parameters. And Shopify will automatically capture that. So that's like a website caching in-app capture method of capturing UTM. So all my Shopify users out there, this is already available to you as like an FYI, but this is the way that you would actually send that data and some kind of cool, neat things that you can do with it. So yeah, that's more of an advanced strategy of not only just using UTM parameters, but also getting quite ninja in it and adding a dynamic field that says, hey, when it shows on this one, it's good. When it shows on that one, it's bad. So now we know where to add those negative placements.
Yeah, and then not to belabor the topic, because I mean, what you have here is amazing. I just want to talk briefly about using the data. So you've captured all this data. You've been able to add the UTM parameters next to each of these client names, so you know who came in where. And then you've touched on this a little bit, but talk about finding the common denominators. Like, at what point do you begin making decisions? How much information do you need before you think like, okay, this is definitive?
Yeah. Let's talk lead generation specifically. We always use a kind of a fun example that we learned with the sell my house fast versus sell my home fast keyword. So this would be a good example of that. When you have two very similar keywords, they might have similar impressions, similar clicks, similar click-through rate, similar conversion rate, and then the same amount of conversion. So on the surface, both those keywords look like winners. They both have 20% conversion rates. But for this example, this was a home buying campaign that was looking for people to sell their homes quickly for cash. So people that were typing in "sell my home fast" were also the same type of people we wanted that were typing in "sell my house fast." And until we looked at the UTM underscore keyword equals "sell my home fast" or "sell my house fast" and tracking what happened post conversion, we found that "sell my house fast" converted into an actual sale for our client, for the company, much more frequently than "sell my home fast." And I know you know this, but I'm just kind of explaining it for the audience. And we think is because people that were typing in "sell my house fast," it's a house, it's a piece of property, it's got a value on it. They maybe have been appreciating in value, and now they're looking to sell it. "Sell my home fast" indicates I lived there, I inherited from my grandmother, I was going to pass it down to my kids, and my dog's buried in the backyard, and now I got to get rid of my home, which is really, really, really hard for me to do. So I run a lot of money, and I'm not going to negotiate. I need to have astronomical expectations. And so we found is that they both had very similar impressions, very similar clicks, very similar conversion rates, even click-through rates were really high. Everything looked great. But we found out that we should have been spending all of our money on "sell my house fast" instead of "sell my home fast," which essentially doubled the campaign efficiency, really. There was tons of search traffic out there for that. But if we didn't know what really happened after the point of conversion, we were throwing half our money out the window, really.
Yeah, so you're looking for common denominators. An example I'll give you that I discovered recently, I just retooled the way that our CRM captures our leads. And I was looking at it the other day, I think I shared this with you, but something like 30 or 40% of our more viable leads came in through chat as a medium.
Yeah.
That's not, keyword data. That's not ad group data. It's just the way that somebody engaged, but it's really good to know. And it gives me the opportunity to, at a minimum, I know I'm going to respond to chat leads a whole lot faster.
Yeah. And what's kind of cool too, is you can even combine the both. If someone types in this really high quality keyword and their chat, I want more of those. So
yeah,
you can tie everything. Campaign, if it's bottom of the funnel, top versus top of the funnel, they might get a different email. Email automations, for example, if one comes from one campaign, don't send them like, "Hello, this is my introduction to my company." But if someone comes in from this other campaign, which is my bottom of the funnel, it's "Here's how you get started today." So you can actually set up automations based on how they've interacted with your website, but where they came from, what they typed in order to get there. You can set up different automations. So yeah, tons of stuff you could do that basically just say, tell me how they got to me and I'll tell you what I need to do with them, or tell you if it's good or bad, or what they need to receive. And all that stuff can be fully automated through this tool.
And we set this up for clients, right, John? Like this is something we do if they were to hire us.
Oh yeah. Yeah. This is kind of what we do. It's our SOP, a standard operating procedure, to do this with every client when they can intake that way, when their digital property is set up to receive this. If not, we can help them build it. Not very hard to do, really. But it's something that they should probably know. If you're serious about Google Ads, and that's kind of what our mantra is here, is like elevated Google Ads experience, like getting down to the really deep details and really valuable stuff. Yeah, this is something that you should be practicing if you spend any money on Google Ads, really, especially lead generation.
Yeah. So hire us is really the take-home message.
Absolutely. It should be a no-brainer at this point. If you made it this far, shame on you for not contacting us.
Yeah. If you have any questions, hit us in the comments. We're going to respond. If you have other things you want to hear about, we want our users to start guiding the direction here. So if there's other topics you want us to touch on, let us know. Don't forget to like our videos. Don't forget to subscribe.
Bell thing.
Oh yeah, hit the little bell thing so that it works. And
yeah, your phone actually goes off. I've subscribed to our own channel. I'm probably 302 now, but I've hit the bell notification whenever we post a new one. My phone kind of goes off and then lets me know that there's been a new video from us. So that's what that does.
We have right now. We've got 316 making this video.
In 2022, we're gonna look back on this and be like, man, we were humble.
That's the goal. Let's get 1,000 subscribers by when? What's the date?
August 31st. Is there 31 days in August?
I don't know. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. Yes. Do you know the knuckle thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I didn't pay a lot of attention in school, though.
I didn't go to school, so.
Schools for suckers.
End of August, we're going to be at 1,000 subscribers. And you're going to help us. And you're going to help us by sharing the video, commenting, letting people know how awesome we are.
It's going to start an MLM. Get your mom to subscribe, your dad to subscribe, like everybody you know. Yeah. Random strangers on the street.
They get 2 friends. Right. So on and so forth. Awesome. Thanks for watching, y'all. We'll see you tomorrow.
Awesome. Thanks.